Did you know that the average person has about 6,000 thoughts per day? That's a lot of opinions floating around in our heads.
That's amazing, John. But here's something funny. When I first started learning English, I could think all these opinions in my native language, but when I tried to speak in English, my mind would go completely blank. I remember being in a group discussion and someone asked, "What do you think about this movie?" I just smiled and nodded because I couldn't remember how to say, "I think it was boring" in English.
Oh, I've been there too, Amy. It's like having all these thoughts locked in a room and you've lost the key. That feeling of wanting to share your opinion but not having the right words is something every English learner experiences.
But here's the good news, listeners. Learning to express your opinions in English is like learning to ride a bicycle. At first, you might wobble and fall a few times. It feels scary, and you might need someone to hold the seat. But once you learn the basic moves, like I think, I believe, or in my opinion, you start to balance. Soon, you're riding smoothly, going wherever you want to go with your thoughts and ideas.
That's such a perfect comparison, Amy. Your opinions are valuable and unique. They're like your fingerprints. No one else has exactly the same perspective as you. The world needs to hear what you think, and today we're going to give you the keys to unlock those thoughts and share them confidently in English.
Learning to express opinions in English has so many benefits. First, it helps you connect with people from different cultures. When you can share your thoughts, you make real friends, not just acquaintances who nod and smile.
Absolutely. It also helps you at work or school. Being able to say, "I suggest we try this approach," or "I disagree because," shows you're an active thinker, not just someone who follows others.
And here's something important. Expressing opinions helps you learn faster. When you share your ideas and get feedback, your brain makes stronger connections. You remember vocabulary better because you're using it for real communication.
Hi everyone, I'm John, and I'm so happy to be here with my co-host Amy.
Hello, English learners. I'm Amy. John, I remember when I moved to London and couldn't tell my new friends that I preferred tea to coffee. I just drank whatever they gave me and smiled. It took me months to learn how to say, "Actually, I'd rather have tea, please."
That's such a relatable story. I remember teaching a student who was afraid to disagree with anyone in English. He thought it was rude, but we learned that there are polite ways to say, "I see it differently."
Exactly. Today, we're going to give you practical, easy-to-use phrases that will help you express your opinions confidently and politely in any situation.
Before we start, if you find this episode helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to FluentHub English. It really helps us reach more learners like you.
Let's begin with our first role play. In this scene, Amy and I are at a café discussing what to order. I'll play the role of a friend making suggestions, and Amy will share her preferences and opinions.
Scene 1. At a cafe. Discussing food preferences. What do you think we should order? I'm thinking of getting the chicken sandwich.
I'm not sure about that. In my opinion, the vegetarian pasta looks better.
Really? I believe the chicken is their specialty. Many people say it's delicious.
I see your point, but I think pasta is healthier. From my perspective, we should choose lighter food for lunch.
That makes sense. What do you feel about sharing a salad too?
I like that idea. I'd love to try their Greek salad. How do you feel about that?
I agree. The Greek salad sounds perfect. To be honest, I'm not very hungry anyway.
Great. So we'll have the pasta and salad to share. What do you think about getting some dessert too?
I'm not sure about dessert. I feel quite full already. What's your opinion?
I understand. Maybe we can just have coffee then. I think that's enough.
That works for me. I believe we made good choices today.
I agree. In my view, this will be a nice light lunch.
Vocabulary and phrase breakdown. Let's look at some important phrases from this conversation. First, in my opinion. This is a great way to start sharing what you think. It's polite and clear. For example, in my opinion, learning English is fun.
Next, I believe. This is another way to share your thoughts. It's a bit stronger than I think. For example, I believe practice is important for learning languages.
Another useful phrase is, I see your point, but. This is perfect when you want to disagree politely. First, you show you understand the other person, then you share your different view. For example, I see your point, but I prefer tea to coffee.
From my perspective is similar to in my opinion, but emphasizes your personal viewpoint. For example, from my perspective, speaking with native speakers helps a lot.
And finally, how do you feel about is a great way to ask for someone's opinion. For example, how do you feel about studying English every day?
Guided practice. Now let's practice these phrases. Repeat after me. In my opinion. I believe. I see your point, but. From my perspective. How do you feel about? I think. I agree. What do you think?
Excellent. Now, try to use these phrases in your own sentences. Think about something you like or dislike and express your opinion using one of these phrases. For example, in my opinion, chocolate is delicious. Try it yourself. Scene 2. At the airport, making travel plans.
For our second role play, we're at an airport waiting for a flight. Amy and I are discussing our travel plans. I'll play a traveler who likes to plan everything, and Amy will be someone who prefers spontaneity.
I think we should plan our activities for each day of our trip. What's your opinion?
Well, I'm not sure about that. From my perspective, it's better to be spontaneous.
Really? I believe planning helps us save time and money. How do you feel about that?
I understand your point, but in my view, too much planning takes the fun out of traveling.
That's interesting. What do you think we should do then?
I suggest we just plan the first 2 days and leave the rest open. Do you agree?
I'm not convinced. To be honest, I feel anxious without a clear plan.
I see that. Maybe we can find a middle ground. What if we plan the mornings and keep afternoons free?
That could work. I believe having some structure is important, but I agree that free time is nice too.
Exactly. In my opinion, balance is the key to a good vacation.
You're right. From my perspective, your idea gives us both what we need.
Phrase breakdown. Let's examine some key phrases from this conversation. First, what's your opinion? This is a direct way to ask someone what they think. For example, what's your opinion about learning English online?
Next, I suggest. This is used when you want to propose an idea or solution. For example, I suggest we practice English every day.
Another useful phrase is, do you agree? This asks if the other person has the same opinion as you. For example, I think English is important. Do you agree?
I'm not convinced is a polite way to say you don't agree with something yet. For example, I'm not convinced that watching movies is enough to learn English. And finally, to be honest is used when you want to share your true feelings, especially if they might be different from what others expect. For example, to be honest, I find grammar difficult.
Guided practice. Now let's practice these travel-related opinion phrases. Repeat after me. What's your opinion? I suggest. Do you agree? I'm not convinced. To be honest. I find. Maybe we can. That could work.
Great job! Now, think about a trip you'd like to take. How would you plan it? Use some of these phrases to express your preferences. For example, I suggest we visit museums in the morning. Try to create your own short conversation about travel plans. Scene 3. Shopping. Discussing product choices. For our third role play, Amy and I are shopping for a new phone. I'll play someone who wants the latest model with many features, while Amy will be more practical and budget-conscious.
What do you think about this phone? It's much cheaper than the newest model.
I'm not sure. In my opinion, the newest model has better features.
I see your point, but I believe this one is good enough for our needs. How do you feel about saving some money?
That's true, but from my perspective, having the latest technology is important. What do you think?
Well, to be honest, I think we should consider our budget first. Do you agree that we don't need all those extra features?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm not convinced. I suggest we look at the reviews first.
That's a good idea. I believe checking reviews will help us decide. What's your opinion on waiting for a sale?
I'm not sure about waiting. I feel we need a new phone soon. In my view, we should buy it today.
I see that. Maybe we can compromise. What if we get this model but with a discount?
That could work. I agree that saving money is smart. From my perspective, your idea makes sense.
Vocabulary and phrase breakdown. Amy, let's look at some important phrases from this shopping conversation. First, what do you think about? This is a common way to ask for someone's opinion on something specific. For example, what do you think about this English learning app?
Next, I'm not sure. This expresses doubt or uncertainty. It's softer than saying no directly. For example, I'm not sure about this grammar rule.
Another useful phrase is, I understand what you're saying, but this shows you're listening to the other person while still holding your own opinion. For example, I understand what you're saying, but I think speaking practice is more important than grammar.
Maybe we can compromise suggests finding a solution that both people can accept. For example, maybe we can compromise, we study grammar today and speaking tomorrow.
And finally, that could work is a positive response to a suggestion. It means you think the idea might be good. For example, that could work. Let's try studying for 30 minutes each day.
Excellent. Now, imagine you're shopping for something you need, maybe clothes, electronics, or food. How would you discuss your choices with a friend? Try to create a short dialogue using some of these phrases. Scene 4. At work, sharing ideas about a project. For our final role play, Amy and I are colleagues discussing a new project at work. I'll play someone with a traditional approach, while Amy will suggest new, innovative ideas. What do you think we should do for this project? I believe we should follow the same process as last time.
I'm not sure about that. In my opinion, we should try something new this time.
Really? From my perspective, the old method works well. How do you feel about that?
I see your point, but I think we could be more creative. What if we try a different approach?
That's interesting, but I'm not convinced. To be honest, I feel worried about changing what works.
I understand your concern. Maybe we can find a middle ground. I suggest we keep some parts of the old method, but add new elements.
That could work. What do you have in mind exactly?
I believe we should use the same planning steps, but try new presentation techniques. Do you agree?
I agree with that idea. From my perspective, it's good to be careful, but also open to change.
Exactly. In my view, the best results come from balancing experience with innovation.
You're right. I think your suggestion will make our project even better.
Vocabulary and phrase breakdown. Amy, let's examine some key phrases from this workplace conversation. First, what do you think we should do? This is a great way to ask for opinions and suggestions in a collaborative setting. For example, what do you think we should do to improve our English?
Next, what if we try is used when suggesting a new idea or approach. For example, what if we try watching English movies without subtitles?
Another useful phrase is, I understand your concern. This shows empathy when someone expresses worry or doubt. For example, I understand your concern about making mistakes when speaking.
What do you have in mind exactly? Asks for more specific details about someone's idea. For example, you think we should practice more. What do you have in mind exactly?
And finally, I'm not convinced. Expresses doubt about an idea or suggestion. For example, I'm not convinced that memorizing vocabulary lists is the best way to learn.
Guided practice. Now, let's practice these workplace-related opinion phrases. Repeat after me. What do you think we should do? What if we try? I understand your concern. What do you have in mind exactly? I'm not convinced. I believe. Do you agree? That could work.
Perfect. Now think about a project or task you need to do, maybe for work, school, or home. How would you discuss your approach with someone else? Try to create a short dialogue using some of these phrases to express your ideas and opinions.
Let's quickly review what we've learned so far about expressing opinions in English.
We've covered many useful phrases for sharing what you think in different situations. We started with basic opinion phrases like, in my opinion, I believe, and from my perspective.
Then we learned how to disagree politely with phrases like, I see your point, but, and I understand what you're saying, but.
We also practiced asking for opinions with questions like, what do you think about? And how do you feel about?
And we learned how to make suggestions with phrases like, I suggest, and what if we try?
These phrases will help you express your thoughts confidently in many everyday situations, whether you're at a cafe, traveling, shopping, or at work.
Remember, the key is to start with simple phrases and practice them regularly. Soon, expressing your opinions in English will feel natural and easy.
Listener challenge. Now it's your turn to practice. We have a challenge for you today. In the comments below, write a sentence expressing your opinion about learning English. Use one of the phrases we learned today, like, in my opinion, I believe, or from my perspective. For example, you could write, in my opinion, speaking practice is the most important part of learning English. We'll read as many comments as we can and give you feedback on your English. This is a great way to practice what you've learned today.
To wrap up, remember that your opinions matter and deserve to be heard. Today, we've given you the tools to express your thoughts confidently in English.
We have learned dozens of useful phrases for sharing opinions in different situations, from casual conversations at a café to professional discussions at work. These phrases will help you connect with others, participate in discussions, and express your unique perspective.
Thank you for joining us on FluentHub English today. If you found this episode helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more English learning content.
Join us next time when we'll be talking about how to make small talk in English. Until then, keep practicing your opinion phrases. And remember, your voice matters.
Goodbye.